we are joined by a YouTubing royalty.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Mr. JWW.
How's it going, man?
Not too bad, thank you, mate. We can't see what's in the background, which is cool, but you're here for a reason,
man.
Which you'll drop, and then we'll tell everybody why I'm cut.
Yeah, it's been
miserable.
It's been an adventure, this one, isn't it? When we were texting about it, I was like, I've been told this is quite a process. Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's been a process. It's got to be fine. It's got to be done, but it's done. So we'll let everybody run off what I think it's going to be. Mate, I think it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
But I wanted to chat to you about your crazy idea of trying to do sub-7 at the ring.
Yeah.
Not BTG. So for those of you who don't know, at the ring, a lot of times come out and they're bridge to gantry because majority of time is you're not allowed to lap, are you? Unless it's a track day.
Yeah.
But you're on about doing a complete lap.
Yeah. A complete full lap in sub 7 minutes. So this, you're right, crazy idea came about because I was very lucky to get a build slot on a 992 generation GT3 RS.
Yeah.
And when I first got allocated it, it was going to be one of the first to arrive in the UK. And from a YouTube point of view, when you get something early, the value exchange for the audience is much greater because you're creating stuff that they can't see, and you're giving them something new. And then before I confirmed the spec on that slot, the dealer said, "Good news, you've been allocated a PTS, a paint to sample option, which is a paint which isn't on the standard options list."
So you can't even pay extra for that then? You've got to
get allocated
select it.
Yes,
no way.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, do I do this or not? Because it adds a bit more money onto it, but it adds quite a lot more time onto it too, because it gets pushed down the line because they'll prioritize all of their mass-produced colours first. So I thought, okay, bite the bullet on that. It pushed the build by about 3 months.
Wow.
And then during the build, the Volkswagen Audi group had a carbon fibre shortage. And they stopped offering carbon ceramic brakes and carbon trim and options on GT3 RSs. So the first production of 992 RSs don't have carbon brakes.
Fully basic.
And don't have, fully basic. I thought, man, it's okay because I was planning on tracking it, but I did want carbon brakes.
Yeah.
And I even considered retrofitting them afterwards, but it was so disproportionately expensive compared to having them fitted at factory that I just thought I'd just sooner wait. What went from an early car became almost a late car, and everyone online was filming GT3 RSs. And I was on Gumball last year, my dealer phoned me and said, "Great news! The last GT3 RS in the country has just arrived and it's yours." I was like, okay, cool. So I'm sat there thinking, well, what am I going to do with this car now? Because everyone's done everything with them. There's people who have been tracking them for 12 months. So I was like, man, I need to come up with some value here to get some ROI out of the car, but also provide value to the audience. Because otherwise it was just like, hey, I've added one to the garage, and it was like, and? Right, so
someone's brought me this absolute gem.
What is this?
Funny, I thought I worked on supercars. Citigo.
Citigo. So this is the Skoda version.
I know, because you could have an up.
A rare to see a manual box these days.
Yep. Love a good box, Stav. Can't beat a good box.
Talking of good boxes.
I know. One have come prepared with a box. Should we plug it into a teenager's car? Right. How many faults do you think on a teenager's car?
So a 13 plate Citigo.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So we'll add a new car. So it's a Skoda.
So again, this could be a handy thing for, because is he a fairly new driver?
Yep.
Young chap who wants to sort of keep his bills down. And
yeah, because if warning lights are terrifying, right? Right. So we've just loaded it up as a Skoda Citigo, and we're just going to do the check. So I'm going for 7 control modules and 11 faults.
Okay.
5 faults and 12 ECUs.
Oh.
Engine is very bad.
That is not a good start.
So there's no other faults in anything else except engine.
Oh.
James is not the person to tell there's faults in his son's car. Ignition coil A, ignition coil B, ignition coil C, O2 sensor 2, slow response, and the evap canister. Let's clear the engine. We can't go for a drive.
Why not?
Well, these are brilliant for telling you all the fault codes stored in your car, and like we've gone through coding issues before, but they don't tell you that an 18-year-old lad has snapped his front wheel off.
Oh dear.
Would you like to go and show it?
Should we have a little look? Straight.
And that wheel is not straight.
Whoops.
Yeah.
And you might see a bit closer here.
He's just bent the bottom arm, done his wheel.
There's been a curb wheel interface.
Now, he said that on his back shift, he missed the apex, he ran a little wide, and he hit the curb. And then when I said to him, was there a pretty girl on the curb that you were staring at, and he kind of went, oh, like Kevin and Perry on the job.
Oh, teenager.
Yeah. So, in the comments below, let us know why you think Matthew pranked his car. But don't forget to use link in our description below to get yourself an amazing black little box that keeps your warning lights off your car.
Subscription service.
It is, so you pay monthly, but if I told you what I pay monthly for my subscription service, you would call me an idiot.
Yes.
So
you can code with it as well, which we've done on previous videos.
Yep.
Turning off seatbelt warning sounds.
all
and
sorts.
Lights.
Yeah. I think we turned Tom's BMW into like an American car, didn't we? We put like the side repeaters in that.
We did, and I turned off on my A6 the seatbelt pinging, beeping noise, because often when I'm filming stuff on airfields,
bing, bing.
Gets a little bit annoying.
Yeah. So it is a great little tool. Get it bought. Bosh.
So I'm driving along thinking, what can I do with this car to give it a purpose?
Yeah.
And my first idea was to do a European track tour.
Right,
to try and hit up all of the iconic circuits and set my own time there.
Yeah, okay.
I looked into the logistics of that. It would have been okay, but it wasn't that fun from a logistics point of view. And then, I don't know why, but it popped into my head. My favourite place on earth is the Ring. My previous GT3, I kept it there full time.
Right, okay.
And I thought, I wonder what that sub-7 journey's like. Like how hard is that? And I thought, you know, I was always the nerd that whenever a brand set a new lap time, even before YouTube, I'd rush down to the shop, buy Evo, read all about it, and then YouTube came, I'd be the first one online watching that on board. And so I'd always had this like nerdy appreciation for it. But the more I explored the Ring and the more people spoke about it, I felt there was some context lacking as to just how hard it was and how impressive it was. So by chance, a friend of mine is a guy called Lars Kern, and Lars is a Porsche factory works driver, and he set multiple lap records.
Yeah, we've said about this. You look down the top 50 of fastest cars ever around there. It's the same guys.
So I speak with Lars, and I said, "Do you know these sub-7 lap times that you guys do?" And he goes, "Yeah." I was like, how hard is that? And he laughed at me, you know, he was like really hard, right? And I said, like,
I could drive an F1 car.
How hard? And he said, well, in what car? And quite rightly, if you did it in a race car, you could probably scrape it, right? And I said, no, it's something like a road legal car. He said, like what? It's like a GT3 RS. He's like, really, really hard.
Right, okay.
And I said, so he'd coached me a few times. And I said, do you think you could coach me to get anywhere near that? And he said, how long have you got? I said, how long will it take? And he said, right answer. I said, because if you're going to say I need to get this done this season, forget about it. So on that journey, long story short, he got quite interested in the fact that there was this amateur who wanted to show what it takes to achieve something that a pro does. So this story became about amateur in a pro's shoes. Because when a pro does something, they make it look easy because they've done it their whole life. And I felt that nothing contextualizes how hard something is by putting an amateur in a pro's shoes. And then it just goes, oh, it opens your eyes wide. So we set out on this journey, and the idea as well was to show and share the wider culture of the Nürburgring as part of this video series. It wasn't about me shaving tents every lap, but the core excuse and backbone was, what will it take for someone to try that? And quite very early on, I put this car in the wall, probably my third track day of the season.
Right.
Yeah, so at that point, I'd got my bridge to gantry times down consistently sub-7, which is fine. But the difference between bridge to gantry to full lap is unfathomably hard.
Right.
And I subsequently recently learned, like before most manufacturers go and try and set a sub-7 full lap time there, they're testing, developing and evolving that car for 2 years.
Right, okay.
And that's both driver, engineering team and platform.
Yeah.
So this isn't a turn up and go thing, even though the car in theory, which I also learned, most cars from manufacturers out of the box, it wouldn't matter if you had Kevin Estre in the wheel. You'd have to do some pretty specific setup.
Every car or tyre has a limit.
Right. Sure. Yeah. So I learned so much, and the series within the niche interest of people interested in lap times in the ring gained quite a lot of traction. Yeah. When I put it in the wall, it gained a lot of traction because the nature of the internet, people like drama, you know.
So you going back to before you took this on, where were your lap times?
I was doing sub-7 bridge to gantry, but just, you know, like sort of 656s.
And what this, about 25 seconds, isn't it? Difference?
Yeah. Okay. So my Lars managed to find, for me, on average, he was shaving 10 seconds at a lap off me by the time I'd finished training with him.
Yeah.
My fastest doing a lead follow with him was a 6:45 bridge to gantry. I don't class that as real because I was following a pro.
You're on a toe, yeah.
And when you're following a pro who was in a GT3, not an RS, and you're seeing him turn in at a certain pace without his brake lights coming on, and I'm in a full fat RS, you just know it'll go in.
Yeah.
So on my own, I was doing consistent 650s, say, bridge to gantry, but with Lars, I was getting a 5-second shave, and then I stuck it in the wall, and I'd never got there since.
You've raced though, right? You know, you qualify in, and there's someone who's a 10-foot. You go on a toe, right?
You go on the toe, absolutely, So invaluable lessons I learned from Lars. Unfortunately, when I stacked it, my calendar that we got locked in with Lars totally changed.
Right.
And Lars is a pro driver. He races in IMSA in the States too. So all of these dates that we got lined up just shifted. Yeah. So in that crash, I lost a lot of money, a load of confidence, and a coach within that instant. Thankfully, Matt Armstrong rebuilt the car, which saved me a huge amount of time and cash. And then an incredible guy I met along the way is a guy called Fabio Grossa, and he's a fantastic driver. He's based out at the ring, and subsequently he's become my coach since then. But this has all happened towards the tail end of this season. And now the season's over. We're now planning and recalibrating, and we've got some exciting plans for next season. And that's when we'll treat it more as a motorsport program versus this year has been a track day program. So
So you, as an athlete then, what have you had to do? Because you can go and buy the car that'll do it. You can go and buy Max's 296 GT3, and we know that'll do it. So
absolutely,
what have you had to do?
So what was quite interesting about it was, I mean, from a content and timing point of view, I announced this program this time last year, which in a weird way was quite stupid because it was at the end of the season.
6 months doing nothing.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, I'm going for this thing in 6 months' time. It's about to snow. But what it afforded me was 5 months of sim time.
Okay.
And Fabio, weirdly, who's now my coach, runs this incredible simulator company called Virtualine, who's based out there. And so he gave me loads of tips and seat time in a sim, training me for the ring, which when I went there for the first time, it was like April the 2nd this year. Having not been on the ring for an entire season prior to that, I remember getting on that circuit as if I'd just stepped out of a full track session. Like, it was so fresh.
Fresh in your head.
What it doesn't do, the ring typically has a mile or two resurfaced every year. And they also, fix parts. And over the years, by coincidence, this year they've just celebrated 100 years of the Nürburgring. And so over that time, that surface has evolved so much that it's kind of like a patchwork mattress. And different times of the year, particularly in the morning when it's cold and there's a bit of dew on the ground, those differences in surface are dramatically different in feel compared to on a sim, which is a fantastic way of telling you what's over that blind crest, is it left and right.
But we've said about this, haven't we? The input, like, we've both come from racing, different platforms, but then you go into a sim and it feels numb. There's not enough coming back to me.
different. Like they've got incredible feel in their own right.
Yeah.
But if you've gone, which is something that you said, if you go from real world to sim, I think I find it harder than people I'm speaking to, particularly the younger generation who are going from sim to real. All of a sudden they're getting so much more data that they're like, oh my God, the feedback and feel is insane.
Yeah. And then when you're like Max's laps of the ring was just to learn left, right, left, right, left, right. But his ability as a racing driver fills in everything else, right? Where he's just
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I did was lots of sim. Then I started training from a health and fitness point of view. Got my diet in check, shaved some weight. A lot of it wasn't. I wasn't shaving weight because I was going to shave weight out of the car. It was more of a commitment to myself that I was in the right place. If that made sense.
I think it's you go there and you watch Fast Lads or you go British GTs or anything like that. There's guys there. You look at them and they're not athletes, but they're fast racers.
Yeah.
And you get in bike races as well. But I think the difference is the longevity. And we spoke about TT yesterday. 6 laps of the senior race.
Yeah.
But your mental ability for that.
Yeah.
And at the ring as well, you cannot make a mistake.
2 or 3 laps there. Well, 1 lap of the ring, I think, is 6 of Silverstone.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, and it's not as friendly as Silverstone.
No.
So, and there's this like subconscious, like when it goes wrong at the ring, it generally goes more wrong than other circuits.
Yeah.
It goes properly wrong.
Yeah.
And so there's something about that subconscious. Like you're aware of that danger subconsciously that I find focuses you cognitively even sharper. And so there's this mental tax because your sustained concentration for a much longer lap time than any other racetrack worldwide. And then if it does go wrong, like it did, it goes really wrong. And so the mental taxation every lap. I remember the first time I did 3 laps back to back with Lars. And following a pro as well, like his idea of a warm-up and mine. We went out together for the first day of training, and he said, you're fresh into the car. I'd ran the car in on the drive down there, never tracked it, and I hadn't been to the ring for 12 months. And he said, new car, new surface out there, we're just going to go out and just take it easy. And we did a sub-7 bridge to gantry lap 1. And I was like, his idea of a warm-up are vastly different. The most amazing thing, and I'll send you the B-roll so you can splice it in. When I'm following him, we put a camera in his car as well. And I'm not exaggerating, 40% of the lap he's looking at me in the
mirror.
Rear view mirror.
But that's
it's incredible.
That's idle for him.
Mate, for him, he wasn't even warmed up. Like, it was just.
So that's the thing. Like we talk about, you listen to racing drivers, or you listen to Marquez and GP, or Max having a conversation about something in 20th doing something with GP, and you're like, the ability to have spare brain power to not only do the lap time, but to think, I wonder, he's missed that bit, and he would have come in and said things to you that he'd seen you do.
It's unbelievable.
Well, he's.
Well, we would come
me.
in. I mean, there's a debate about how many corners there are on the ring. And actually, a corner is different depending on what car you're in. What a corner is at GT3 RS speed is not the corner in a Dacia Sandero. Right. So it depends on the car. But when you're at that operating window, there seems to be a generally acknowledged format that there's the 73 corners.
Okay.
And I would come back in with Lars in front of me, analysing my driving in his rear view, and he'd go, what happened at Kesselkin, for example? And I'm like, how did you see that? Like, that was 170 mile an hour. And he's just like glancing at me. He's like, what happened there? You were like half a foot wide. It was like amazing to witness that. And I think this series started because those nuanced details I really loved. And I thought when these manufacturers set these times, this YouTube video comes out of nowhere and they just announce it's just happened. You're like, well, hold on a minute. Like, that's a road legal car with number plates and they've just done like a cup car lap time. Almost. And so we wanted to bake into this series all of that stuff that you didn't see. But to be able to do that, you amplified it with a normal person. That I would get out. I mean, when we first started, I get out. I had to sit down. I was hanging. It was gnarly, mate. So it was a very interesting series. And then weirdly, I wouldn't change the fact that we stacked it because, just being honest, the spotlight that it put on that series, it just exploded. And so we got really interesting storyline out of it, and it became this like Phoenix from the Flames underdog thing, right? Yeah. So as expensive as it was, it was good for it.
He ain't fucking around here.
No, we were not. Trying. We were not playing
like,
about.
do you know what I mean? But that's almost the credibility of a big smash like that.
I suppose
does.
So. Yeah,
is that he's actually trying it.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back on it, we spent some time with a data guy who was crunching some numbers, and he worked for a Porsche DTM team, and how they speak to you about data was so different to how I would think about it. So he told me, you have to complete every kilometer in 20 seconds.
Right.
Like, that's not a piece of data I'd ever thought of.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And he's like, or you need to average 111 miles per hour. Right. And then he'd show me a lap time, and he's like, there's good and bad news. It's like, for you to do a 645 BTG on your own, based on where you're consistently doing a 650, he's like, you need to find like whatever 5 seconds. But he goes, good news is it's a 13-mile lap, so you need X amount of tenths per corner.
Right.
And when you broke it down into, say, you would split the lap into eighths, say, you would like, well, if I work on my slowest eighth section, and then I can chip away the most time that I can in the place where I'm the weakest, the amount of time we started to find compounded, and it was kind of amazing until you couldn't find that tenth anymore, and then you just like throw your gloves at the wall. Like, what the hell?
Because then there comes a point where it's like, now it's hanging them out, right? It's slapping them on the table and going, I have to send it.
Yeah, so what I thought going into
housewife kids.
Exactly this, right? So we left driver training in terms of the ability to know how to pedal a car very quickly became this training, very quickly. And we would come in and Lars would go, so how was that lap? And he's like, how was it through there? Did you get any understeer? And I was like, well, hold on a second. I was like, we're going into Schwedenkreuz, and the car's approaching 180 mile an hour over a blind crest into a left-hand turn. And the importance of keeping this balanced throttle over there. Like, if you lift off, you're swapping ends and you're in the woods. And he was like, this is my pizza, sorry. Hello.
Athlete's diet.
That was amazing.
We were training, it started talking about this way earlier on. And because I started having, whether they're irrational or not, issues out of my control, like mechanical failures and blowouts. There's some of the loads that you sustain, it feels like there's so much pressure on a tyre, for example, and I'm like, if there's a bit of debris through this sustained left
wow, you really started letting your mind wander there.
It started to wander out.
Wow, okay.
And then he'd give me pep talks about, look, the reason we come in every 2 laps and we check the tyres and check pressures and have an inspection of the car, so you can get that out of your head. It's like, you've just done 2 laps, you're going to come around this corner, there's no debris there. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just a really interesting way of training. It wasn't about, oh, you're braking a bit late or you need to bleed off like this. I hadn't got to that stage yet. It was, you got to grow a set first.
And that's really interesting, because if we were talking about Silverstone and you were doing a 20-minute stint, you wouldn't be thinking that.
Not at all. No, I wouldn't, no.
So that shows how actually just the name of where you are changes what you're thinking.
It's the proximity of hard objects is, I mean, it's no joke. It's from here to that wall. Almost everywhere. Right? Like, there's maybe 3 gravel traps on the whole 13 mile track.
And they're the corners where actually it probably doesn't matter.
And it's like, really? And they're on really fast parts where you're like, well, it's going to be a bad day even if I do end up there. So it's a very, very strange place. But from a personal journey, incredible. From a content journey, it's been really unique. And whether we do it or not, it's kind of besides the point. The point is, what does it take to try and do it? So
I get the impression that what you thought when you started and what you know now are 2 different things.
Worlds apart. Worlds apart. And
it just goes to show, I think, we talk about it because obviously motorsport is so much in your head, it's unreal.
I know.
It's so much like
pretty fast, My first lap back after the crash was like I'd never driven a car.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild. And I really believed before I got to the track that it hadn't
bothered you.
Affected me.
Right, okay.
And credit where it's due, Misha gave me a lead follow.
Okay.
And following him back at race pace.
Yeah.
Like we just snipped a sub-7 bridge to Gantry, doing a lead follow, and we did 2 laps, and that reset everything, and I was back to it straight away after that.
Do you know why you crashed?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I took a curb, which the frustrating thing is you don't need to take this curb.
Yeah.
You can. There's a technique to it, and I didn't apply that technique. And it's a very large curb.
Yeah.
And it just smacked up my outside tyres, and I lost contact. And when it landed, I'd over-corrected because I felt the back come round, and it all just snapped like that and went bang straight into the wall.
Because but you knowing why you did it, I think answers way more questions.
Helped a lot
than if you
absolutely if it was a corner that I had a lot of. So in the countless laps that I've done there, I've never taken that curb ever.
Right.
And I know I don't need to. And on this particular lap, I thought I'll just give it a go.
Yeah. And then
it went wrong. Yeah. I know. So I just approached it wrong. And it just threw the physics of the car out, and it landed ski whiff, and that was it. Yeah.
Or you didn't anticipate the car. You didn't expect the car to do what it.
I didn't expect it to do what it did.
It's crazy, though, isn't it? Because
I did a track walk afterwards.
Yeah.
Because when you're flying, you don't know how big a curb is.
Yeah.
Bloody hell! I did a track walk afterwards. Mate, this curb's like, it's like it's bigger than the curb outside.
Right.
It's nuts. So yeah, man, it's been a fun one.
It's been fun to watch because like Matt lives and breathes it. I would love to go more, but I spend my time
work
racing
life,
bikes.
isn't it? Yeah. Cool. Well, you've got even bigger balls. You wouldn't get me on that. But that's insane.
Like you talking about the mental challenge. Like I'm 41. Like now, it's more of an issue now. My head racing than it ever was.
Is that just because life,
housewife, kids?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Like probably the Lewis factor. Not quite as sharp as you were.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid, you're like that. You can take that flat.
Yeah.
And you just send it.
And you just send it. Yeah.
Like there's a famous story in MotoGP where Casey Stoner missed the track walk for Le Mans first time he went there on the LCR bike.
Okay.
And Chaz Davies told him that's flat, mate, through turn 1.
Right. And he sent it.
And it
stuck.
Yeah. No. There's a famous video of him coming off, going through the gravel,
I see.
and coming back after the chicane.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's 180 mile an hour in MotoGP, right? But he's literally like that. Oh, he said his flats was flat.
Wow.
And me and you would have looked at that first and gone, that ain't flat. And that's why me and you do what we do when they do what they...
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So
a different operating window.
Head is just...
honestly. Yeah.
So that's I think that trying to explain to him now. So like Cal wants to take it. Mike, you came in earlier. He races British Supersport.
Right.
You're young.
Yeah.
And you're kind of stupid and you'll do stupid things. So you learn to go fast that way.
Yeah.
And then as you get experience, you've got that healthy crossover of bravery and intelligence,
respect and bravery,
and I think that's where that's like prime Lewis, right? Totally. Smashing championships, and that's what Max is going into now.
Sure, that's absolutely. It's something I'd not thought about, but yeah, it's true. It is true. There's like a crossover of like gung ho, send it, and hold on a minute, mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. So no, it's been cool, and I'm looking forward to next season. But the off season there is super long because it's in the Eifel Mountains, which is the equivalent of like Germany's Highlands. Yeah. And like, as you said earlier, it could snow now, right? Yeah. So the off season, we won't start there with any decent temperature in the tyres until mid-April.
So there's no point going.
Not really, no.
Because getting the tyres into a window is hard enough.
Absolutely, it's hard enough
as it is.
A Michelin Cup 2R, when it switches on, is damn near slick. Like for the first few laps, getting it switched on. Yeah. You would be amazed how hard you have to drive it to make it turn on. It's crazy. Yeah. So that's me back in the sim now until April.
Right.
Could be worse.
Yeah. Be fun. Thank you very much, mate.
In between time, I'm going to eat some pizza.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.